Yo, what is going on, NFT Bros podcast listeners? My name is Adam Andrews, your host, and on today's episode, we have two community members from TSUKA joining us to talk about the TSUKA ecosystem, what TSUKA is, how to join, how to get involved, and their journey in crypto. And we're going to break down their specific thoughts on a few different topics of NFTs, blockchain technology, TSUKA specifically, what they're doing, where they're planning on going, and what they're planning on doing inside of the Web3 ecosystem that we all know and love. So, Uncle Nut, the floor is yours.
Okay, love the floor. Hey, Adam, thank you so much for having us. I'm Uncle Nut or Crypto Nut, whatever you want to call me. It's all good with me. Thank you for having us, Adam, and my fellow speaker, Archan. The legend Archan now, the amazing artist, and delighted to be here with you as well. So I started in crypto about 7 years ago, been liquidated, scammed, rugged more times than I care to remember. Made a lot of mistakes in the early days, lost it all, started again, decided I'd do something about it, learned TA, learned how to do FA from past lives in real life experiences. I co-founded Crypto Alien Babes, an NFT project which has the awesome history of becoming the first ever anime NFT on the blockchain. So we do true frame by frame Japanese anime. And I love everything about NFTs, collect a lot of Yuga Labs stuff, apes, mutants, other deeds, ApeCoin, doggos, all that stuff. I degen into a lot of NFT projects as well. Started off by posting my trading calls on TradingView, ended up being banned for sharing my Twitter handle. You're not allowed to do that, apparently. Had an insane run with a string of 1,000 times X plus calls with Doge. Thank you. Matic, Verge, Redcoin, and the big daddy of them all, Ant shares. See, I'm showing my age now, which later became Neo. I started publishing my calls on Twitter 3 years ago. So everything is there for everyone to see. I believe in complete transparency. So if I make a call, it's left up on Twitter. It's left up on my TG channel, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. I was introduced into TSUKA by CryptoPunk24, CP24, who told me I had to research this token. It was an amazing community run Web3 decentralized project. And that's how I got into TSUKA. So I'll hand back to you, Adam.
That's awesome. I am extremely excited to dive in today and talk about what is on the agenda. Archan, why don't we get an intro from you and then we'll kind of dive in. And correct me if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly.
Bro, you're
please.
One of the rare people who's pronounced my name correctly. So which is awesome. Amazing. But bro, it's such an honor to be in your podcast. Thank you so much for inviting me along with the great Uncle Nut. He's such a beautiful human being. I'm so honored to be sharing the stage along with him. And, I met Uncle Nut through TSUKA. And it's one of the most valuable things that have made such beautiful relationships because of the TSUKA community. And, so bro, I started creating digital art 2 decades ago. Which was one of the early days of digital art when no one actually understood what it was. Just like how a lot of people still don't understand what the blockchain is because it's so early. But anyway, so I've been creating digital art for 2 decades and it's something which I've thrived on, absolutely passionate about it. I got into crypto 2 years back, 2020, because of NFTs. I started selling my art as one of NFTs, and I started deep diving into blockchain because of NFTs. That was the first time it really attracted me because I saw a real life use case, and I completely started understanding what the blockchain is about to do through the use of NFTs. And I was so blown away that it just sucked me in. And diving deeper, I started investing into blue chip projects like Yuga Labs. I became a Yuga Labs maxi, and went crazy deep into them. I absolutely love that project. Then Azuki, Doodles. These were some of the investments I made in the space. And I've been very picky about my investments. I've mostly been dabbling around Ethereum and Bitcoin, and that's about it. Never been into altcoins and stuff. But around June of last year, 2022, was when one of my art collectors, he mentioned TSUKA to me, and he was like, dude, like I'm investing in TSUKA, it's going crazy. And I looked into TSUKA and I was like, oh, another altcoin, So I just read about it. I did not understand anything. So I just left it. A few hours later, I'm hearing someone else talking about it. Then again, someone, like the next 2-3 days, I was just listening about TSUKA from different people, and that got me really interested. I started understanding it more. I just invested a bit. I got a big bag because it was very early. It's 4x from there. But I got in and I got into the community, bro, and it just sucked me in like crazy. I started going into all these spaces and like talking to people, started understanding tokenomics, reading the white paper, understanding about Ryoshi, his history, all of that, which we'll discuss. But what fascinated me was the crazy tokenomics and the community energy, and I was absolutely blown away, bro. I'm so glad I became a part of this project. It's the first ever project outside of mainstream like Ethereum or Bitcoin or anything, and I was like, man, wow, and such an amazing community.
That's amazing. I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around everything and where we even start this podcast at. You guys are very interesting crypto kind of veterans and have been trading pretty well, it seems like, for quite a while now. Successfully invested in Yuga early and Azuki's and Doodles and Unlce Nut. You mentioned those 1000Xs. Like, you guys are a wealth of knowledge. I'm extremely honored to have you guys on the podcast. Excited about what we're going to be talking about. And I guess we'll just start with one of the basic questions I love asking all of our guests, which is, can you explain to me how you explain NFTs to somebody who doesn't understand them?
Archan, you want to go or you want me to go?
Bro, always you. Always you.
So you want me to explain NFTs? Okay, no worries. So the easiest analogy I find is that it's the Mona Lisa, and it can be substituted for anything, right? It's like, so you know the Mona Lisa, right? Yeah, I know the Mona Lisa. Okay. If you take a picture of the Mona Lisa, is that worth anything? Well, I don't know. Maybe if I'm a professional photographer and I say, oh yeah, it might be worth something, but maybe not. Okay, great. Imagine having the Mona Lisa on a blockchain that proves that you are the provenant owner of the Mona Lisa. What do you mean? Well, now there's only one, and I can prove that I own that Mona Lisa because it's attached, as an IPFS file on a thing called the blockchain. Okay. Well, what about if I just take a photo of it, of your NFT, or I right click and use it the same way that you're using it online? Well, the big difference there is that when somebody checks to see who owns the Mona Lisa, they're going to know it's mine. And there's technology out there already with Twitter, whatever, that will prove that I'm actually the one that owns it. So your right click and PFP, people will know that it's a fake. It's just a copy of mine. So, but you had to pay a lot of money for the Mona Lisa. Yeah, because I'm the only one that owns it. So that's how I basically explain it.
And bro, this is the same way I would do it. Like I would give an example of an artist or an artwork or a gallery. So you go into a gallery, you see a Picasso. How do you know it's the real painting? It can be an artist somewhere who just made a replica, right? You can't make it out unless you have the authentication. So the authentication would usually come from the gallery or the curator, and they would show you a piece of paper. Everything can be faked, bro. But on the blockchain, you cannot fake it. You can see the transaction. You can go through the contract details. You can see who the token holder is, who minted it, dates, everything. It's an open ledger. So you can cross verify it, and there is no way you can manipulate it. So it's digitally authenticated. It's done and dusted forever. You cannot manipulate it later on, and that's the beauty of NFTs. So I mean, it's digital authenticated ledger system which is approved and digitally signed. So I mean, you cannot manipulate it like the way we do in real world. So even with watches or with properties, like how can you if you tokenize these systems, if you tokenize these assets digitally, you cannot create fakes. You cannot create manipulate these assets because they're digitally authenticated. So these are like real life examples I would give to people to make them understand.
Yeah, super example, Archan. And I think the other thing is that, when you talk about properties and so forth, I mean, it's inevitable that everything is going to be on the blockchain. And it's just simply a matter of educating people that are in control right now. And the new generation will do that anyway. Eventually these guys are all going to be replaced, and we'll put everything on the blockchain. And, you can even, the beauty is with NFTs now, you're going to have time released NFTs where you can rent them out for a certain amount of time. That token could be associated with a property. It could be your Airbnb. Like it's just going to permeate everywhere. And I think we're just in the most exciting time ever. Something that's forever and a day going to change the world.
Bro, leasing systems, like the way we lease or give out rents, right? Like properties. Like if I want to give out my property as a rent, if I want to lease it out, such an easy way to do it through a smart contract, like the best way.
Yeah.
Easily transferable, everything's there, the contract is already ready. You don't have to do anything. It's so simple. And I mean, I feel that like in the future, it'll be so like we won't even call it NFTs. Like you go and buy a pair of shoes from Nike online, that'll be an NFT. Like it'll be limited editions, anything online. Like you do your shopping online, it'll be an NFT. We won't know that it's an NFT because it's just going to be online shopping. It's just going to be another layer of the internet, but with extra with the smart contract, with authentication, everything is traceable. Amazing.
Yeah, can you imagine like going onto the other side and like going into a Nike, mono shop where it's just got like a super mega store, and you go in there and you're in as your PFP walking around this store, and you can actually try on all the trainers on, try the, whatever you want to try it on. And yeah, I want to buy that. And basically you'll be buying it within the metaverse, and it's going to be shipped to your door. Or how about you're playing a game, you're gaming, on somebody's other deed, and you're having a raging time, and your friends are all, hooking up with you, and you're all having a blast. And then someone says, "Hey guys, I'm going to get something to order." And then you just walk next door and go into the, whatever takeaway store it is that you're in, pizza store, order a pizza. And as you're actually in the metaverse with your friends playing, the doorbell rings and it's like, "Hey guys, IRL, I've got to get my pizza. I'm going to be back in 1 minute and I'll eat it and play." These things it's all going to happen. It's all going to happen.
Bro, you can clearly see that Uncle Nut has been playing Dookie Dash a lot.
Dude, I'm dookied out.
I am thoroughly impressed with like the amount of, I guess, innovative ideas we just spoke about in 2 minutes. The rest of this podcast is going to be epic. I thoroughly believe in blockchain technology, and everything you guys just mentioned is 100% going to come to fruition in some way, shape, or form in the future. I actually, you guys mentioned ticketing in the beginning briefly, and I like to tell all the guests, if I get the opportunity, about this bet that I have. So I made a bet in 2021 with somebody that in 10 years, all of the ticketing industry will be fully NFTs. And it's a $10,000 bet. And so March something, it's on my calendar, March of 2031, I'll be collecting my 10,000 USD in ETH from that person, because I truly believe that NFT ticketing is
that's a guarantee, dude. Tell the guy to pay. Listen, tell the guy to pay up now. Pay now. It's over.
Hey, seriously. I tried. She said she wants to hold out. I have many people betting that want to take the the over on that.
Yeah, listen, if she wants to take more bets, I'll take it up. This is cool, man. Jeez, yeah, we thought we were just coming on to have a great chat with you, but it's like, we may make some money here.
May make some money. I can call her and be like, "Yo, I got like 15 other people who are actively willing to take that bet."
Bro,
you want to?
This actually started back in 21. Do you know Bonnaroo music festival? Bonnaroo.
No, I haven't. I haven't
Bonnaroo.
heard of it.
It's a huge festival in the US, and in 2021 they actually collaborated with this platform called Makerspace. So they reached out to me. I created an artwork. They released, I think, around 80 or 100 something tickets. I don't remember the number, and it was basically just the VIP tickets. So people who were buying the NFT got special access to the front door, backstage, VIP lounge, front row seats, blah blah blah. So they were all being selling. They were all selling those as tickets. So music festivals have already got into NFTs, bro. Like with ticketing systems, and it's just gonna keep growing every year.
I tell you what, your friend
I
needs to
haven't.
do, Adam. Your friend needs to do this. She needs to find someone and take the opposite bet.
Yes, she does.
Fast.
You know what? You know what's gonna happen? I'm gonna have my editor clip this. I'm gonna send it to her because yeah, it's absolutely the truth. And you know what I love about this podcast is we get to explore ideas that aren't like fully done yet, but they're just beginning to be done. And so there's so many just open ideas about what can happen. And with ticketing specifically, I have a friend who runs an NFT ticketing company who is going to raise capital now to, go into this market. And I'm super excited. I'm going to try and get him on the podcast and see what we can do together, because that conversation is very intriguing to me, which kind of leads me into, I think, a question that will, I guess, pretty much just open up this conversation completely and let us dive down the rabbit hole of whatever comes from the answers that you guys give based on this question. And it's a question that I love asking all of my guests, which is a 2-part question. The first part of the question is, where do you see the biggest opportunity in the next 12 to 24 months in the NFT and blockchain technology space? And the second part to that question is, where do you see the biggest opportunity in the next 5 to 10 years in the same space?
That's a great question. I mean, me personally, I think the next really exciting thing is going to be when you can leverage off your PFP. So for example, let's say I've got an ape. I could rent that ape for a month, 3 months, whatever. I could leverage that out and borrow against it using BenDAO or one of those providers. To me, that's an exciting space because it's trustless. I don't have to go and see a bank manager and show him my whole life and let him credit check the shit out of me. It's like, dude, you go into these sites, within 2 minutes, you got money in your wallet. So to me, that's an explosive part of blockchain and NFTs that is just starting. We're just scratching the surface with those guys. I think for the longer period, I think the real excitement for me is to once again get rid of all of this old red tape of buying properties or renting properties where you've got to go through all these checks and all this BS. You'll have your PFP. They can do a quick check of your wallet, see if you got the money to pay it. They can lock up those funds. You can rent the place, or if you've got, you've just scored big on a deal, you just sold out a collection, man, and you're like minting money. And it's like, okay, I'm going to buy that penthouse, and you'll just go online, buy the penthouse you want, pick up the NFT for that penthouse, and boom, you don't have to check with any government official, anything. It's in your wallet. You walk into that penthouse, now it's yours. That to me is like, wow.
Bro, like absolutely bang on, like real life applications of how we can integrate real life assets into the NFT space. That's where it's going to get a lot of traction and a lot of VCs, institutions coming in with their capital. I think that's what's going to make NFTs and even the blockchain very, very mainstream as well. There's no doubt that the blockchain is going to be one of the biggest sectors in the coming years, right? But I definitely feel that what's going to happen is, and what's needed right now is a kind of a breakthrough in the way we use NFTs, because the way it's usually used is either art or through PFPs, trading, right? So I mean, that's kind of getting saturated. And I feel that there are people who are building things, who are coming out with ideas, who want to really, take it a level ahead, bring real life integrations through NFTs, like how we discussed about properties or ticketing and other use cases as well. So unless we really break the norm, imagine and visualize something which has never been done before, that's what's coming. And I feel that that's what's totally going to break the ground. Like how the iPhone revolutionized the mobile industry. That's what's needed. Like we need a level up right now. Like that is what I visualize in the next 24 months happening. Something which we have not yet conceived or imagined, and also a lot of real life utility. I think that's extremely important as well.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with both of those statements. So that was part one. Let's do part two. What about 5 to 10 years? I know, like, yes, it definitely could be the same thing that you mentioned that will be the biggest in the next 12 to 24 months, because the industry is just going to grow absolutely exponentially. But I would like to know if it's different. What is it that you view
I
that
just
will
feel
change?
like in the next 5 to 10, 15, 20 years, we won't even be calling this blockchain, NFTs, crypto. It will just replace all these old Victorian systems, from like, say, financial systems will be completely replaced with digital currencies. Shopping will be completely replaced with NFTs. Trading will be replaced with NFTs. Assets will be all NFTs. So I think, and we won't even call them NFTs. We'll just be going out shopping, and we'll be buying stuff, like physical stuff, which will be coming into our wallet as NFTs. So we'll have receipts. Companies like N26, Revolut, all these digital banks, they're all integrating crypto already. So I mean, when we go shop, we'll have, in our banking apps, we'll have NFTs. So I envision that, like, it's just going to replace all the old systems which have which serve us nothing more. Like, they just corrupt systems. They're just going to be replaced by all these transparent systems, and it's just going to become very normal for us, I feel.
You could even say, like, one more thing. Like, I see that one of the biggest, like, retarded things that we do in life right now is the vote. Like, you go voting, you go to some booth and you cross a box, or, it's just so insane. That will be completely revolutionized with the blockchain. And, you'll go and it's like, you'll vote, and then it's irrefutable and it's like immutable. And nobody could challenge you, and you could do a vote in like a 10th of the time, because now you don't have people having to count votes.
And bro, you don't have to go anywhere. You can just do it on the blockchain.
Absolutely.
I feel like that specific thing is going to be one of the most difficult to actually catch on, because the people that are in power want to stay in power, and the way that they do that is to manipulate systems that they hold the power over. And when Web3 gives the power back to the people and decentralizes that ability to change things and makes it fucking impossible, we're going to get a lot of pushback. But I do definitely, that's a very interesting, I certainly see that as a massive, massive use case for the future of blockchain. And Archan, like you mentioned, it will 100% not be called NFTs in the future. It will just be whatever it is replacing. Just like the Starbucks, their I think it's called the Stamps program. It's just like you get rewards and you can use them or not. And you have the option to interact with this program or not. And like, it's just simple. It's not, you don't have to set up a crypto wallet. Like, it's done for you. I think the largest way that we onboard people onto Web3 is not by introducing them and explaining to them what blockchain technology is and how it functions and all these things about the intrinsic details of the back end of it and how it operates, but just putting it in the back end systems of things that already exist to improve the system and to improve the user experience. And once you do that, then as a company, if you do that, months later, you just go, oh, hey, by the way, every single one of you has been using blockchain transactions for the past 6 months and haven't noticed. Boom. Now, here's some education on blockchain and like how we're using it to improve your customer experience in, I don't know, shopping or whatever, I guess, industry it's going to be implemented in, which is, in my opinion, every industry in the world will be affected by blockchain technology.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely, bro.
Absolutely, totally.
And like, I think, what you said about like the governments, they already understand that. They already see this coming. That's why they're already resisting. They first tried to control the internet more than a decade ago, because they knew what the threat is going to be. They knew probably what the blockchain is going to do. They still know what it's going to do. It's going to replace so many systems, bro. It's going to dethrone centralized power, and they'll do everything they can to do it, but it's inevitable. They can't stop it, bro. Like, this is the evolution of the human collective. This is how human collective consciousness is going to evolve. I mean, there's no other way. It's so inevitable.
Yeah, like, and also, like, if you look at the way DAOs are run now, we're just scratching the surface, and the new generation, they know how DAOs are operated. They know how these votes work. They know how it's fair and transparent. And they know that anybody could put an issue up. So, it's just a matter of time for the new generation to actually, get to that point where they can start taking out these people and taking over. And I'm also a great believer that there's a tipping point to everything. So it starts off as a trickle, ends up as a tidal wave. And that really is what's going to happen. It'll be the network effect. They won't be able to resist it anymore, because what you'll find is that young generation will start moving into positions of power, whether it's in private enterprise, Web3 or whatever, and they'll start using the technology. And before you know it, like you guys have already said, people won't know it as an NFT or blockchain. It'll just be like, oh, we've got this system that we're using to do our voting for the building maintenance, or, the condominium association. They'll just use this new software, and everyone will just like, oh, what do you have to do? Well, just go online and just press whichever one you want. Okay, great. And then it'll tell you where your vote is and what the vote is. And, we won't have to worry about all this boring stuff that's being pushed back right now by old fuddy-duddies that are controlling us.
Absolutely agree. This is these next 5 to 10 years, if we make it that far and we don't go to complete nuclear war and just destroy the planet at this point, are going to be extremely interesting, especially in industries across the world and how the world is going to work. I am a huge proponent in, refining processes and improving not only yourself, but your business and community and things like that. And it's hard for me to go and do anything else with the understanding that I have of what the blockchain technology is going to be in the future and how it's going to be utilized. Because, like, it sounds so cliche to say, and it's like, oh, we're early, we're all going to make it. But it's extremely true, because if you actually understand the technology, how it works, how it will be implemented, how it could be implemented in the future, you are in the 0.1% of people in the world right now that understand this technology and how it functions and how it can have different use cases. That right there, that knowledge that we all three share, and a lot of the people who are listening to this share, is extremely, extremely valuable, because the majority of these big companies who are coming into NFTs and exploring blockchain technology, most of them are kind of doing it in a shitty way, but it's because they don't have the understanding that we have. And so we have a big advantage in knowledge, rather than the people who are coming in with less knowledge. And so I think we all truly are going to win in the end, especially if we're here this early. It does sound cliche to say, but I truly believe that. And I'm extremely excited to see what the future has in store for the Web3 and blockchain community as a whole.
Yeah, just the fact, Adam, that you're here and you're running a really successful podcast and you're actually attracting people that are trailblazers in the industry. And, even take your friend, for example, that's creating the NFT ticketing company. Now, he's your buddy. He comes on the show. You've already seen the vision. You can help him. You get some points on that deal, for example. Like, these are the things that, hold on a second. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Yeah. Dude, that's crazy. It's crazy. But getting back to what I was saying is that, you come in and it's like, you've got all these opportunities right now that are going to be exploding in 5 years. So when people say, oh yeah, but I missed the boat, I should have been here in 2015 or 16. I'm like, no, dude, seriously? There is a plethora. There's so many more opportunities now than what there were back then, because back then we didn't even have the substrates really sorted out in the early days. It was all like cavalier and, well, let's start a site and we can sell drugs on it. Yeah, we can take Bitcoin. Yeah, wow, that's a great idea. So like people in your audience that are listening to this, they are winners as well because they're gaining insights, they're gaining knowledge, and they are actually educating themselves and putting themselves in a year from now, even if they just started today, in a year from now, they know what they're talking about.
100%. If yes, I absolutely agree. And thank you for saying that about the podcast. I truly put in quite a bit of effort here to make it as good as I can. And I'm really excited for the future of it, for this year, for the coming years ahead with this. I think that it's coming back to this kind of thing that Archan mentioned, which was the collective consciousness, right? And I really have been exploring, consciousness and thought quite a bit lately. And to me, having this podcast not only helps Web3 grow in an educated manner and bring people in that now, after having listened to 20, 30 episodes of mine a year from now, are educated when they come into the space, unlike a lot of people who came into the space were uneducated, So I'm going to leverage it to not only help bring more people into the space in an educated manner, but I'm also going to leverage it to gain perspective from other people who have, one, been in the industry longer than me, which you have, and two, all have different life experiences than me and have different perspectives on different things. So if the topic comes up about what I'm doing at Just Cubes and they have an idea for me, great, that's awesome. That could change the trajectory of my company forever, for the better, right? And had I not developed this podcast and put the steps in place to, bring people on, I would never get that idea. And I don't think that I would be where I'm at today had I not started this podcast, because I've met so many amazing people. I've gained so much perspective. I've had so many new ideas come to fruition. And I just really love doing this. Like, it's fun. I love having these conversations. Love having guests on like you guys. You guys are very intelligent and driven and understand the technology. This is an amazing conversation, and I hope the listeners who are listening are enjoying this. I kind of want to stop taking the floor from you guys and let you have it. Let's kind of shift and dive into TSUKA a little bit and kind of explain to the listeners what it is and kind of dive in there and talk about that, because it's really intriguing to me, like how everything has happened. So why don't you give the listeners just kind of a brief 60-second elevator pitch rundown of what TSUKA is, and then we'll just kind of dive in and talk about it.
Cool. Archan, do you want me to go or you want to go?
Bro, this is not even a question anymore. You're the expert here. You know how to roll with this, bro.
I like the way you did that. Okay. Okay, so the elevator pitch. 26th of May, 2022, a mysterious dev in the middle of a horrid, chilly bear cycle stealth launched on Uniswap with $3,000 liquidity, with no warning, no promotion. So from that point, the community started looking into this token. And I should add that the contract that was used for this was a total degen copy of another contract that was really, dude, it was like a horrible contract. And there was, absolutely masterful thought process that went into even that. And that is, if it had have been written on a bespoke contract and any dev could have seen that immediately, then bots would have come in and overtaken this project from the get-go, right? The way it was done, full degen mode, bots were like, everyone was like, whoa, what the hell is this? It's probably just another scammy project, right? And that's exactly what the dev wanted to achieve. So basically, the dev starts communicating via the blockchain, sending messages via the ETH network. And these are like really mysterious messages. And for those that actually started following it and the community was following it, talking amongst themselves, are like, wow, this is insane. Like what this guy's saying, it's all like spiritual and it's all about doing things together. And, it was incredible. So Ryoshi and those that know the story know that he is the founder or co-founder of SHIB, the main dev. He'd become very disgruntled with SHIB and publicly wiped out all of his Medium articles, his PFP, everything. Everything was just deleted. His whole history, Twitter account, the whole thing. But what he did do is changed his PFP to the famous Tibetan Buddhist Milarepa. Now, to most people, that would have meant nothing. But that was the biggest hint. Because Milarepa, when we go down the line and we start understanding who Milarepa is, there was a book that was written by Sangha Haruka. And Sangha Haruka wrote the biography of life of Milarepa. And if you look at the words of the author, the first name is Tsanga. The family name is Haruka. Now, if you take TS of the first name and UKA of the family name, you have Suka. Now, Dijitsu Suka in Japanese, Dijitsu means digital currency. Suka has a few different meanings: handle of the sword, rite of passage, etc. So essentially, Ryoshi is the developer. And for those that want to get into this and understand, and I implore you to at least watch the video on YouTube. The details are in the TG chat channel, and you will get like 14, 15 minutes of amazing content that will put all the facts and figures together, and you will come to the same conclusion that all of us have come to. So that's basically the elevator pitch that is not quite an elevator pitch.
No, that was, I mean, it's kind of hard to make an even shorter elevator pitch out of that. That was 3 minutes of just pure, perfectly explained elevator pitch. So, dude, awesome.
Thank you.
And bro,
very.
You know what happened was that, like, when I joined TSUKA, it was still pretty early. Like, it was there for a few months. I joined around July, and what happened was a lot of people were debating, right? Like at that time, whether it's Ryoshi is the dev, or whether he's not the dev. So there was all this like hunting going on around like him leaving clues. So what he did was, he's such a fascinating developer. He's such a fascinating guy. He left clues everywhere. He left clues in blockchain messages, in his journal which he posts, in various other ways. Like he's left clues everywhere. So people could go and like figure it out and join the clues together and come to conclusions to what he's trying to say, or Suka connected to Ryoshi. So all these like intelligent minds started coming together, forming teams, and they started like hunting, putting puzzles together, clues, and then they all deciphered the clues. So it was like this mysterious play where, it wasn't just like he just went out and said, "Hey, I am the developer." He actually left clues so that he could let people come, like, get excited, get intrigued. And that's how he got a lot of people in as well.
Very interesting. Yeah, it's cool to hear how he did it. I'll go watch that video you mentioned, and I'll also link everything related to TSUKA that you guys want put in the podcast show notes or the YouTube description, so that the listeners can go check everything out themselves. And if they're interested, join the ecosystem and the community and get involved. And so, this is really intriguing to me. So basically, to explain to all the listeners who don't understand blockchain, Ethereum hints, and things like that, right? Let's explain to them why TSUKA's community is so interesting, because I think that's a very cool and interesting thing to talk about. So the community and the entire project is ran 100% by community members who are simply giving their time and their labor in for absolutely free, right? There's nobody who works for this. There's no team, wallet with tokens in it. There's no, the whole supply is out there, and there's no centralized owner, right? Why don't we break it down for them? Like, what is the community doing? How did this come to, and break it down for the listeners.
Archan, you're not going to get away with this one. This is yours.
Bro, so like I think the best way is for Uncle Nut to explain the tokenomics, because I think the way he explains tokenomics, and then I'll definitely add, bro. So like let's definitely highlight the main features of TSUKA, because those are amazing.
Adam, you saw what he did just then, right? You saw that.
Oh yeah, that was a perfect redirect. It was absolutely phenomenal. Dude, I've been in sales like for probably eight years of my life. That was a wonderful redirect there.
And every time he does it, he actually sits there and he sniggers to himself. He's like,
yes,
I got it again.
I practiced this job before coming in.
Yeah, I saw that. Okay, so tokenomics, because as Archan actually absolutely correctly said, the way that the tokenomics were designed, it actually set the substrate for the community. And inside, when he's left all this wisdom in these messages on the blockchain, he mysteriously left a website for us. Everything was left for us to stumble upon. 1 billion tokens fully distributed. There was a fair launch. The fact that everybody had to pay for their token is pretty much unheard of in our space. Usually, you have seed investors, you have teams, you have VCs who buy massively discounted tokens to dump all over retail. You do have everything except a fair launch. This was a fair launch, fully distributed, all billion tokens out there. Organic growth, no team, no marketing tokens. Here's a token that's purely funded by community, donating their own time, resources. And let me tell you something, the depth of the talent in this pool, we're 11,350 or so wallets strong now. The community itself has people that are experts in meditation, that regularly come in and hold meditation classes. There's people that talk about mental health. There's people that talk about life in general. There's brainiacs in there. There's people in the entertainment business. There's people creating music. There's a plethora of talent. It's very different to every other TG channel I'm involved with. And I think most people, whether you hold TSUKA or you don't hold TSUKA, if you go in there, you'll understand what I mean. And that's because of these perfect tokenomics. Now, let me continue. fully renounced contract. What does that mean? No sneaky taxes could be added in later. No new supply could be added in later. And I'll give you an example of that. Tangible example would be Dogecoin. Now, the dev has not renounced the contract. So at any time, he could go in there and decide, okay, wife wants a couple of Ferraris, need a new house in Marbella, need to, whatever. Let's just add another, $100 billion token, 100 billion worth of tokens. Overnight, Doge's price would crash, literally. It's probably unlikely that would happen because of the history now, but it's possible. So, but with TSUKA, not possible. There's no taxes on transactions. The marketing comes from community, individual donations, influencer incentive tokens, discounted tokens, ditto. None. Everybody has to buy at market price. Okay, so essentially what you have is a token that has no baggage. Once you understand that TSUKA has no baggage, it's as pure tokenomics as can be, you understand how that can impact your bag. And that's when you understand the pure magic. For example, let's say an exchange comes online. Well, every time an exchange comes online, they need fees, they need liquidity, they need to buy tokens. In order to be able to trade, they need to have tokens to trade. So they need to buy those tokens. Now, on Uniswap, for example, right now, there's probably only like 1.1%, the last time I looked, of tokens available for sale. That's out of our entire ecosystem, 1.1%. Now, if a big exchange comes along and needs to buy tokens, there's no supply, price goes parabolic. So the way the tokenomics is structured gives us this perfect math. And the other thing, which is super, super important, and Archan is going to explain this and expand on this, is the beauty of our community with this substrate that's been preordained or predetermined from Ryoshi in the manner he's guided us through his messages. So Archan, over to you.
Yeah, bro. So, bro, the thing is, like, simply put, what TSUKA is basically Bitcoin on Ethereum. So it's Bitcoin built on Ethereum because of its tokenomics. So it cannot be manipulated. You cannot do anything. It's completely community owned. All the tokens are out there, fully diluted. You cannot pump and dump it, nothing. Like, it's purely organic. It's the way how projects should be. It's going to be the underlying way of how new projects are going to come up, and it's completely based because of these things. It's completely based on the community. So I mean, I invested because of the tokenomics, but I invested even more because of the community. Because once I came into the community and I saw the crazy energy of the community, it was basically, bro, if you take Bored Apes, Yuga Labs, Azuki, Doodles, Clonex, Artifact, all these communities combined and multiplied steroids in like 100 times, that's what the madness of the community is. It's so wild. I used to think like all these NFT projects have the most amazing communities, but I was so blown away when I came across the TSUKA community. I was like, holy shit, all these NFT communities are nothing in front of what these guys are doing. And this is back in July, August, when we just had like 4,000 members. Now it's 11,000 members in the TG channel. It's just growing organically. There's no paid, nothing. It's just like pure hype, pure organic, word of mouth. People are just coming in just because of the love and the nature of the community. And the beauty about it is positive vibes, mental health, spirituality. You can talk about all these different aspects.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. It's like nothing I've ever seen in my short time in crypto, like 7 years. I've never experienced the uplifting community. You don't get that sort of normal vibe of moon boys and, everyone, when dollar, when this, when that, all
Yeah.
that stupid stuff. It's really a place where people go to every day. And like what Archan's saying is true. It's like, I've been at BAYC almost from the very beginning, and it's like that, but on steroids, because BAYC, it's
Yes.
kind of like cultish in a way. It's an awesome community. Don't get me wrong. It's changed slightly over time. I think Archan would probably agree with that. But the beauty with what TSUKA has is that it's getting better as time goes on. And
Yeah, because the thing is that with BAYC, it's more of an elite club now. So you need to have a certain amount of money to get into BAYC. And obviously, it's very like elitist, right? Like not in a negative sense, but it's positioned itself like that. That's the nature of how the project is. But with Suka, even if you have one Suka or a million Suka, no one cares. No one asks you how much you hold. You just come into the chat. Even if you don't hold Suka, you just come in. You have amazing energy. You talk about spirituality, about raising your consciousness, meditating, mental health issues. Yeah, or talk to a friend too, like you're going through a bad time. Talk about how you can enhance yourself. So the energy of the community is so wild. It's like all these NFT projects combined in steroids. It's absolutely mental, bro.
Yeah, it does. It sounds absolutely mental. I think that was a perfect way to put it. And I'm really excited to kind of dive into the community, join the Telegram, join the Discord, and see what you guys are doing, see how we can contribute as a company to help the ecosystem grow and gain some more exposure. Really excited to open.
Bro, we can do collaborations.
Yeah.
That's the beauty. Like,
yeah.
Just collaborate and just come up with ideas and just do it. Like, there's no owner, nothing. Yep. So the community collaborates, and it's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. I'm super excited to do that.
Yeah, super. Like, someone like you and with the platform you have, as Archan said, it's a win-win for everyone. And, you gain fans, we gain resources, we gain another friend. And, it's just a win-win-win.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. Well, with all that being said, that was amazing. I do like to keep the episodes right around that hour mark, the 45-minute to an hour mark. I like to be respectful of my guests' time. And, time is the only resource that we cannot get back. And so I do like to be respectful of your time. I have one final question for the both of you, and then we'll wrap things up. So all of the TSUKA information that you guys will share with me will be in the description of the show notes for everybody who's listening to go get involved, go find out more, go learn, and get involved with what TSUKA is doing if you are moved to do so. With that being said, I would like to ask you guys the final question. So we have talked a bunch about NFTs, blockchain technology, TSUKA, the community, a bunch of stuff like that. We've gone over your brief overviews of your crypto, knowledge and experience, but we haven't really got to know who you guys are. And so the final question I like to close out all these episodes with is, can you tell me one thing special about yourself that's not related to crypto? It could be literally anything. It could be that your favorite food is pickles, or you love hats, or it could be a hobby, anything. And you certainly don't have to share if you don't want to. So that is how I like to close out the episodes, is just learning a little bit more about the guests that came on. So Archan, go ahead.
Yeah, I can go with this one. It's an easy one.
Yes.
We got him. We got him.
Finally.
Yes. Bro, do include these in the show. Don't
absolutely. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Fun.
Yeah, these will 100% be in the show.
Yeah, so bro, outside of crypto, crypto for me has been a great just in general has been a great way to just dive back in within, because I feel that the space itself is so crazy. It's a great way where I can tune back into myself, meditate more, and it's just a catalyst for me to be more and more within. Apart from crypto and in general in life, I'm absolutely in love with God. Not God as a religious figure, but the universe, the source of life itself. I'm in complete love with the source, the creator of all of life, the electricity which powers us all, consciousness. This is what I think about all the time, bro. This is what I live on, thrive on, and this is what I completely visualize and imagine, and breathe in all the time. So I'm so passionate about life. I'm so freaking passionate about creativity and the joy, the source of life itself. I'm in love with my family. Like I'm crazy about my family. So that's what I spend the maximum time with them, and I create because I'm able to express my joy and love for God, and that's all I think about all the time. That's my only passion, and the rest just flows out. It's just an expression of the divine love. So yeah, bro, it's very simple. Just that's my only obsession.
Epic. I love it. I would want to have you back on for maybe a YouTube live stream, because my personal YouTube channel away from the Just Cubes, I guess, YouTube is going to be focused on a lot of what you just mentioned. And so I would absolutely love to have you on to
Wow.
talk about the conversation and stuff like
Let's
that.
do it, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's do
Uncle,
it.
how about yourself?
Okay, so I've been a long time meditator. I was meditating before I actually knew that I was meditating, if that makes sense. As a young kid, my parents used to take me to go see doctors because they thought I was like this introverted kid that used to go into his room and, sit down in a lotus position and basically just like go off to the stars, as they would call it. And they kept taking me to different doctors and basically saying, there's something wrong with him. He goes off in his own world all the time. But this simply was meditating, and it was me being able to plug into the universe and gain all my wisdom, just being a humble individual and being open to resisting ego and basically tapping into the ultimate source. And I like Archan, God is a great word. There's many words that I use, but the universe is something that's drawn me to do so many things via meditation. So I climb mountains. I ironically went to the cave in Manang in Nepal. I was climbing Annapurna, and I've climbed Annapurna a couple of times. I've climbed actually mountains in many, many different countries. But, that was the cave where Milarepa, the whole story, that cave plays a significant part in it. And so meditation, sharing love with friends, nature, if I'm not touching grass, I get edgy. I need to be out in the open. I need to surf. I need to, snowboard, ski, whatever, as much as I possibly can. So, and these are all things that keep me connected to the universe. And so, yeah, that's a little bit of background on myself.
Bro, what about you, Adam?
Yeah,
Like, you
Adam,
have to
tell
answer
us.
this as well.
Tell us.
Yeah. So my go-to is always that I race motorcycles. Like, that's just something that I'm super, super passionate about. Like, I love the art of riding a motorcycle extremely fast. And that's something that I often share with people that, not a lot of people know about me. But I also resonate with both of what you guys were saying, and, tapping into source and God, and really, I guess, listening more to the voice in my head, and really believing that whatever I actually think that I can do it, and then figuring out how to go and do that. I think that a lot of people misunderstand the voice in their head and think that they should not listen to it, or that, they can't control it, but you can. And it's been an amazing, like, I guess, past 6 months that I've really dove down that rabbit hole. Massively so after I got hit by a car on November 1st. I really just dove down this path of self-exploration and understanding the universe more, and like myself more, and getting closer to God. And so I'm kind of on that same wavelength. I've been meditating a ton more. I have just been diving down that rabbit hole of understanding the universe and myself and my thoughts and how to control those things and get what I want out of life, which is a lot. And probably won't be diving into that.
Amazing.
But yeah,
That's an incredible story, man. That's really,
thank you.
I mean, super cool.
And that's such a beautiful question, bro. Like, you asked this question and I learned so much about Uncle Nut. I never heard from him about all this, and it's amazing. So we have to do this together, bro. The other YouTube channels,
Yes.
which you mentioned,
100%.
Uncle Nut has to be there.
Yes, let's do it. Let's plan it. We will plan it.
Awesome.
With that being said, dude, thank you guys so much for showing up. That was an amazing episode. We talked about a plethora of things. We are right at that hour mark, I think, with edits and stuff. So I will wrap it up. Thank you, everybody, for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, just drop us a review. That's all I ask. I don't take money or paid promotions for any of this stuff. It's all out of my own pocket that I'm paying to produce this project and market this podcast. So with that being said, thank you for listening. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. We have a very cool guest coming on. Gonna be hard to top this episode. There was so many amazing things that we talked about, and I'm looking forward to the future YouTube that we're going to do, as well as having you guys back on the podcast in the future to find out more about
In
TSUKA.
6 months,
Yeah.
bro. We'll be here
Heck
in 6
yeah.
months.
Fantastic,
All right,
bro.
Well,
Cheers,
thank you
man.
guys so much for coming
Thanks so
on,
much.
and we will see
Take care,
you
brother.
on the
Cheers,
next
brother.
episode. Peace.
Bye.